Ladies and gentlemen, today we have another interesting video to get into. We have some Nintendo news, some more Nintendo news, some Switch 2 news, and some Switch 2 news. If any of that sounds exciting, well, then you should stick around. And even if it doesn't sound exciting, you should still stick around. So let's go ahead and get right into this video. Before we get into anything, I love clothes and the world of fashion, and I even design and create some of my own clothes sometimes. I was at a store yesterday and I seen this shirt, and I thought, that's a pretty neutral color, that will go with a lot of stuff. Let me buy this shirt. And wouldn't you know it, once I put this shirt on, I look like I give safari tours. What the hell? Ladies and gentlemen, please keep your arms and hands in the vehicle at all times, or your hand might get bit off by a damn lion. No, don't worry about it, it's cool, this shirt isn't that bad, I'm fine. Regardless, we have a lot of stuff to go over today, so before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe. We are so close to 12,000 subscribers. At the time of recording this video, I think we are 25 subscribers away. So I would really appreciate a like and subscribe, and let's go ahead and get right into it. So first, let's get into some bad news. This past year, I have really got into the world of emulation, and it's not because I felt one way or another about it. Like, I never thought it was unethical, because I always thought, play a game however you can. We're not here on this earth that long. If you can do something that makes you happy, then do that, as long as you're not harming anybody else directly. But since my channel's grown a little bit, I started getting all these little emulator consoles to review, and I really do enjoy them, and I think they're great products. Nintendo, on the other hand, isn't so happy about this world. And anybody who shows you how to emulate stuff, well, normally Nintendo goes after their channel. But there are some gray areas and some ways you can work around all this. And really, 9 times out of 10, when you make content like this, you're gonna be fine. But it really seems like Nintendo is starting to crack down in major ways on this. So let's check out what's going on. Nintendo is now going after YouTube accounts which show its games being emulated. And what they're saying is true, but it's not as direct as they're saying it. Like, if you're just playing games that are emulated, or you're playing these little emulator consoles, I don't really think Nintendo's going after people like that, but what they're doing is still pretty shitty. Nintendo is famously protective of its intellectual property, and has a history of suing content creators who it feels have overstepped the mark. However, its latest moves feels particularly, I can never say this word, particularly, can't do it, sorry folks, heavy-handed, and it has issued a copyright strike against a YouTube channel that reviews emulation handhelds. I do the same thing, review these emulation handhelds. But I think there is a little bit more to this story, but the major issue, copyright strike. Copyright strike is a big deal. If you get 3 copyright strikes, your channel has a high probability of being terminated. Funny enough, my very first copyright strike ever actually came from Nintendo. It was my fault though. When Tears of the Kingdom was coming out, the trailer leaked out early on like 4chan, and I posted it. I only had like 1,000 subscribers at the time, and that video did pretty good. It got like 300 or 400 views in an hour, and at the time I was like, oh my god, that's amazing, we're going viral here. And I was so excited, and then they gave me a copyright strike. I had to do something called copyright school, and once you do that, as long as you don't get any more within 90 days, they remove it. So yeah, that copyright strike went away. I actually have another copyright strike currently right now. I think that goes away next month, and this is coming from Retro Gamecore. I hate making posts like this, but I have received another copyright strike this morning. I'm going to have to change the way I make videos. And I think the major issue in what they were doing, which I do believe falls under fair use, what they were doing I don't think was wrong at all. So I don't want to put blame on this channel at all. But the reason why I think Nintendo directly went after them is they were showing you how to emulate. And you know that thing that came out recently, it was called the MIG Switch, and you could dump your own Switch games onto it and then essentially make your own Switch ROMs? I think they were also doing stuff with that. My current opinions on emulation is, if you can go and buy the game now, it's in stores, you can get it directly from the publishers or the game developers or the companies, then you should buy that game. If there is no way to purchase this game directly where you don't have to pay resale prices, then emulation is pretty fair in my opinion. And then in the editor notes right here, it says this was the second strike from Nintendo on his channel. The first, it's worth pointing out, is related to his coverage of a device which allows you to dump Switch games to your computer, and I believe that was a MIG switch. So it seems like they were targeting him directly, and I think the second one maybe was because he was showing Wii U emulation, which is still a fairly recent console. So I don't think any of the retro stuff they really care about that much, but it seems like the more recent stuff, they are not playing with people. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Do you think emulation is fine? Do you think if you can buy the games in stores, you should do that? Or do you think you should be able to emulate whatever the hell you want? Especially because you technically don't own the games even when you buy them. I think you just own a license to buy them or some weird BS like that. Now let's get into some more bad Nintendo news, I guess. Legos. They are more popular than they have ever been. And Nintendo and Lego actually have a bunch of sets. Way more than I even knew. And they're discontinuing a bunch of them. Lego is retiring some Nintendo sets. They are also making some new ones. Like, I don't know if the Zelda one has came out yet, or it might come out this month. Regardless, look at all these sets being discontinued. I didn't even know they had all these sets. Diddy Kong's Minecart Ride expansion, Diddy Kong's Jungle Jam, Nabbit at Toad Shop, Peach Castle, Peach's Garden. Oh, in the UK they're actually discontinuing even more. The NES is probably one of the coolest Lego things I've ever seen. I didn't even know they had all these Lego sets, but yeah, just a heads up, if you were interested in getting any of these sets, they are retiring them very, very soon, so I would try to go out and get them while you can. I can't stop looking at this. This looks so freaking cool. Look at Diddy Kong's big fat ass head. Okay, now let's start getting into a little bit more exciting news. Pokemon just made an announcement that something is coming very soon, a huge update. What else are we waiting on an announcement for? Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later in the video. Here's a post over on Twitter I've translated. October 1st is coffee? I don't know. Speaking of coffee, I love coffee. On October 4th, the first anniversary of the release of Detective Pikachu returns. We may have some exciting news. So 2 days after you watch this video, there should be a new Pokemon announcement. Now, will that be just for some merch? Or maybe some DLC for the game? Who the hell knows? But yeah, I get excited when I see announcements like this and the timing, because it's like, okay, we got this announcement, this one, this one, this one, this one. All of that's out of the way. Well, it's coming next. I would say some Switch 2 news. So now let's check out an update for a Switch 2 game that I had no idea was even a thing, but I guess it's pretty big news and it's a very popular game, but yeah, you know, what the hell do I know? Switch 2 game smashes Kickstarter funding goal. And the game is called My Time at Evershine. One of the first games confirmed to be in development for the Nintendo Switch 2 has completely blown through its Kickstarter funding goal. I guess they were asking only for $200,000, which seems very low to be able to make a game. But they have surpassed that goal with $1.5 million. And there's still 22 days to go in this goal. So I guess once they hit all these goals, they will add new stuff to the game. I was about to say $200,000 if you make this donation, all you get is a t-shirt. That doesn't sound like a good deal, but yeah, I'm assuming that this will just be added into the game. So we have a trailer for this game, and I'll be honest, it doesn't look that good in my opinion. And as we know, my opinion doesn't really matter over here, so just keep that in mind. It's my opinion. But yeah, this is the trailer right here. It looks pretty goofy. This is short. I'm sure this is early gameplay footage, so keep that in mind. But this literally looks like early Fortnite graphics or something. It doesn't look bad. Yeah, like look at that right there. Like look at that right there. That literally looks like a Fortnite screenshot. I don't really know what you do in these games. I'm gonna assume with this down here, it's like a crafting game or something like that. Yeah, so this is the game they're making. You can beat up little gophers. It looks like a mixture of like Fortnite and Power World and probably some other stuff. I have no idea. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. And the last bit of information we have is it seems like an update for the most popular Switch game of all time. I've been seeing a lot of patents for this lately, so I can only assume that this is for the Switch 2. But we have this patent right here, and this was published October 1st and filed March of last year actually. And essentially it just seems like they're tweaking the UI a little bit in the menus, and the way things work in the game. Here's the server, here's information processing apparatus. I'm going to assume these are consoles. And as you can see, they have quick race right here and normal race. And then you have 4 stages, and that's what Mario Kart always is. This little Mario pipe right here, I find a little interesting though. Here's all the courses, and here's what the picture looks like before you start the race. Start race, selected character image, selected equipment image, which would be the car, selected machine image. Is the equipment maybe your special, and then the machine would be the car? Right? That makes sense. So what's your equipment? Then you have your difficulty here, and then you start the race. Even though this doesn't have a lot of pictures and it's a lot of words, these are the things that get me most excited. It's not the craziest news. It's like, yeah, there's going to be a new Mario Kart game for the Switch too. It's like, yeah, no duh. Of course that's going to happen. When you see stuff like this, it helps to put it in your brain that, like, even though this next generation of consoles seems like it's never going to come, they are working on games for that next generation. And one of the main questions we have for the Switch 2 is, what is the launch game going to be? Every Nintendo console launches with a Mario or a Zelda game. We just got Echoes of Wisdom. We had Tears of the Kingdom last year. The Switch launched with Breath of the Wild, so we're probably not going to launch with a Zelda game. But then if we're thinking about launching with a Mario game, we have got like 15 Mario games in the past 24 months. Do we launch with another Mario game? If they do, it's probably got to be a 3D Mario game, or does it make the most sense to launch with Mario Kart, the most popular Switch game, the definition of a system seller? People will buy the next generation of Nintendo consoles just to play the new Mario Kart. And it's a multiplayer game, so you can play it with your friends and family. I'm sure there's going to be an online aspect to it. If I had to put any amount of money on anything, I would definitely put that on a new Mario Kart game, being the launch game for the Switch 2. Ladies and gentlemen, we just went over quite a few things. So in the comments below, as always, let me know your thoughts and opinions. And remember, if you ever want to take a guided tour on a safari, you know who to call. Guys, if you made it this far, I'd really appreciate a follow on Instagram. Hit a like and subscribe if you could. And you guys know me, I will see you very soon with a new video. Peace out.